Our world is a tapestry of interconnected lives, woven together by the invisible threads of nature and necessity. At the boundary where the wild and the cultivated meet, a silent negotiation unfolds each day. Here, the needs of animals and the ambitions of humans intersect, shaping the landscape and the destinies of all who inhabit it. As human populations surge and settlements sprawl outward, forests are cleared, grasslands are ploughed, and wetlands are drained. Each new road or field fragments the wilderness, forcing wildlife to adapt or perish. The natural corridors that once allowed animals to migrate, hunt and breed are narrowed or severed, creating islands of habitat surrounded by human activity. The consequences ripple through the ecosystem. Elephants, driven by memory and instinct, follow ancient paths that now cut through fields of maize and rice. Deer and wild boar, deprived of their native forage, raid gardens and orchards. Predators, finding their prey scarce, turn to livestock as a substitute, igniting a cycle of conflict and retaliation. Animals are resourceful, guided by acute senses and a relentless drive to survive. They sniff out water in irrigation ditches, scavenge for fruit in abandoned groves, and follow the scent of grain stored in barns. Their behavior shifts with the seasons. During drought, they may travel miles to reach a single pond. In times of plenty, they may linger at the edge of fields, waiting for nightfall to feed. As habitats shrink, wildlife becomes bolder, venturing into the heart of human settlements. Foxes and jackals slip through hedgerows under cover of darkness, while monkeys leap from rooftop to rooftop in search of fruit. Even the most elusive creatures, leopards, bears, and wild cats, are sometimes spotted at the fringes of villages, their eyes gleaming in the moonlight. In the fields, elephants move with surprising silence, their massive forms blending into the night. A single herd can flatten acres of crops in hours, leaving behind a trail of destruction that threatens a family's entire harvest. Their intelligence and memory make them formidable opponents, able to bypass simple barriers and remember which fields offer the richest rewards. Wolves, ever watchful, test the defences of flocks, circling at a distance before darting in to snatch a lamb. Their social structure and hunting strategies are finely tuned, allowing them to exploit weaknesses in even the most vigilant herds. The presence of wolves can alter the behaviour of prey animals, causing them to cluster tightly or avoid certain pastures altogether. Bears, with their keen sense of smell, are drawn to the scent of ripening fruit, honey, or discarded food. They overturn compost piles, break into storage sheds, and sometimes even enter homes in search of a meal. Their foraging can reshape the local environment, dispersing seeds and disturbing soil, but also brings them into dangerous proximity with people. For villagers living at the edge of the wild, every night brings uncertainty. The loss of a single cow or goat can mean financial ruin, while the threat of injury or disease looms large. The emotional toll is profound. Fear, frustration, and grief mingle with a deep respect for the animals that share their world. Across continents, the specifics change, but the pattern remains. In North America, coyotes slip through fences and prowl the outskirts of farms, their adaptability making them nearly impossible to exclude. They learn to avoid traps and recognize the routines of farmers, adjusting their movements to minimize risk. In East Africa, hyenas haunt the night, their eerie calls echoing across the savannah. They scavenge at the edges of villages, sometimes snatching livestock or even threatening people. Their intelligence and persistence make them formidable adversaries, capable of opening gates and working together to overcome obstacles. To defend their homes and livelihoods, communities have developed a range of strategies. Some build thorny barriers or electrified fences, designed to deter even the most determined intruders. Others use noisemakers, lights, or guard animals to keep predators at bay. In some regions, villagers patrol their fields at night, working in shifts to watch for signs of trouble. The stakes are high. Beyond the loss of crops or animals, there is the risk of injury, the spread of disease, and the erosion of trust between people and the natural world. Each incident leaves a mark, shaping attitudes and influencing the choices of future generations. Yet within these challenges lies the potential for coexistence. By studying animal behavior, understanding migration patterns, and respecting the needs of wildlife, communities can develop innovative solutions. From beehive fences that deter elephants to livestock enclosures designed to withstand predators, the path forward is one of adaptation, resilience, and shared stewardship of the land. Across the sweeping landscapes of Canada, from the icy stretches of the northern prairies to the rolling hills of the Maritimes, coyotes have become a symbol of adaptability and cunning. These elusive predators are not just survivors, they are opportunists, thriving in environments shaped by both nature and human hands. Their presence is a constant thread woven through the daily routines of rural life, a reminder that the wild is never far away. Coyotes are masters at reading the land. They slip silently through fields and woodlots, their senses attuned to the faintest movement or scent. For farmers, every dawn brings the possibility of a new encounter. Tracks in the snow, a distant howl, or the uneasy silence that signals something amiss among the livestock. These predators are patient, often observing for days before making their move, exploiting gaps in fencing or moments when vigilance lapses. The challenge for Canadian farmers is relentless. Coyotes target the most vulnerable, newborn lambs, calves, and poultry, striking swiftly and often leaving little trace. The losses are not just financial. Each animal lost is a blow to the farmer's hard work and emotional investment. The unpredictability of these attacks means that no two nights are ever the same, and the threat never truly disappears. In response, farmers employ a range of strategies to protect their animals. Some reinforce fences with buried wire or electric strands, while others use guardian animals like dogs, llamas, or donkeys to deter intruders. Motion-activated lights and noise devices are set up to startle and confuse, but coyotes quickly learn to adapt, testing the boundaries of each new defense. The struggle is not just about loss and prevention, it's about balance. Coyotes play a vital role in the ecosystem, controlling populations of rodents and other small mammals that can damage crops. Yet, when their numbers grow unchecked or when natural prey is scarce, the pressure on livestock intensifies. Farmers must weigh the need for protection against the importance of maintaining ecological harmony. The dilemma deepens as coyotes become bolder, venturing closer to barns and outbuildings, sometimes even approaching the edges of rural communities. Their presence blurs the line between wild and cultivated spaces, forcing farmers to constantly adapt their methods and remain vigilant. Each encounter is a test of ingenuity and resilience, a reminder that coexistence with wildlife is both a challenge and a responsibility. For Canadian farmers, the daily battle with predators is more than a struggle for survival. It is a story of adaptation, respect, and the ongoing search for balance between the needs of agriculture and the rhythms of the wild. Every decision, every measure taken is shaped by the understanding that the land is shared, and that true stewardship means finding ways to protect both livestock and the natural world that surrounds them. Managing coyote populations to protect livestock is a complex blend of art and science. It requires not only skill and patience, but also a profound understanding of the coyote's intelligence and sharp senses. Coyotes are incredibly wary, with keen eyesight, acute hearing, and a powerful sense of smell, making them a challenging quarry for even the most experienced wildlife managers. Scientific methods play a crucial role in coyote management. Wildlife biologists use tracking techniques to monitor coyote movements and behaviors. By studying their tracks, scat, and territorial markings, experts can gather valuable data on population density, health, and activity patterns. This information is essential for developing effective management strategies. Timing is also crucial. Coyotes are most active during the low light of dawn and dusk, when they move through fields and pastures in search of food. Planning management activities around these peak activity periods greatly increases the chances of success. Coyotes are highly adaptable and intelligent animals. They can quickly learn to avoid traps and other management tools. Therefore, wildlife managers must continually adapt their techniques, using a combination of traditional knowledge and modern technology to stay one step ahead. The impact of coyote management extends beyond protecting livestock. Coyotes play a vital role in maintaining the balance of local ecosystems. They help control populations of smaller predators and herbivores, which in turn affects vegetation and overall biodiversity. Effective coyote management ensures that these ecological relationships remain in balance. Ethical considerations are at the heart of responsible coyote management. Wildlife managers strive to minimize suffering and ensure humane treatment of the animals. This includes using the most effective and humane methods available, such as non-lethal deterrence and relocation when possible. Through careful preparation, discipline, and a strong ethical code, wildlife managers play a vital role in managing coyote populations. This helps protect rural livelihoods, safeguarding livestock and supporting the balance of local ecosystems. Ultimately, coyote management is about finding a balance between necessity and respect, honoring the animal, the land, and the people who depend on both. By combining scientific methods with traditional knowledge, wildlife managers can ensure that coyote populations are managed effectively and ethically, preserving the delicate balance of our natural world. In the heart of East Africa, where the savanna meets the edge of expanding villages, a silent struggle unfolds. As human settlements push deeper into the wild, the landscape transforms. Open grasslands give way to clusters of new homes, and the ancient balance between people and predators is disrupted. Droughts parch the earth, shrinking waterholes and driving prey animals away. Hungry hyenas, once rulers of the night, are forced from the open plains into the margins of human life, drawn by the scent of livestock and the promise of an easy meal. Spotted hyenas, famed for their bone-crushing jaws and relentless stamina, are highly intelligent and adaptable. Their social hierarchies are complex, with clans led by dominant females and intricate communication through whoops, giggles, and scent markings. As wild prey becomes scarce, hyenas turn their attention to livestock. They study the routines of herds, test the strength of enclosures, and coordinate attacks under the cover of darkness, exploiting every weakness in village defenses. Many villages rely on simple barriers, thorny branches, wooden posts, or mud walls to protect their animals. But these defenses, built for a different era, often fail against the cunning and persistence of hyenas. Under the cover of darkness, hyenas slip through gaps, dig beneath walls, or leap over low barriers. Their nocturnal raids are swift and silent, leaving little trace until morning reveals the damage. The aftermath is grim. Carcasses strewn across the ground, the silence of loss echoing through the village. For those who depend on every animal, the impact is devastating, threatening food security and livelihoods. Hyenas also carry deadly diseases. Rabies and anthrax can spread rapidly not only among wild animals but also to livestock and indirectly to people, compounding the crisis. Infected hyenas may become more aggressive or lose their natural wariness, increasing the risk of encounters with both livestock and humans. Now hyenas prowl the edges of villages, drawn by the sounds and smells of daily life. They watch from the shadows, sometimes following children or approaching homes in search of food. Scavenging from rubbish bins and waste piles, hyenas adapt quickly to new opportunities, but this behavior brings them ever closer to people, increasing the risk of conflict and disease transmission. Their boldness grows with each successful raid. Once creatures of the night, some hyenas now venture out in daylight, testing boundaries and learning the rhythms of village life. The threat is no longer limited to livestock. As hyenas lose their fear, the risk to people, especially children, grows, and the sense of safety that once defined village life begins to erode. The line between wild and village is vanishing, replaced by a shifting frontier where survival depends on adaptation by both people and hyenas, in a landscape forever changed. As darkness falls across the savannah, hyenas emerge from their dens, their senses sharpened and their movements calculated. These predators are masters of stealth, using the cover of night to approach villages undetected. With powerful jaws and relentless determination, they test the boundaries of livestock enclosures, searching for weaknesses in fences and pens. Hyenas are opportunistic and intelligent, often working in groups to distract guard animals or exploit gaps in defenses. Their tactics include digging under barriers, gnawing through wood, and even coordinating attacks to overwhelm livestock guardians. Once inside, they move quickly, targeting the most vulnerable animals. Nighttime is when hyenas are most active, their haunting calls echoing across the landscape. Packs communicate with eerie whoops and laughs, coordinating their movements and signaling the presence of food. Their persistence and adaptability make them a constant threat to livestock and other animals living near human settlements. Local wildlife responds with caution and alarm. Wild dogs and baboons raise the alarm while livestock huddle together for safety. Even smaller animals like mongooses and porcupines have developed defensive behaviors to avoid these relentless hunters. The entire ecosystem shifts into a state of alertness when hyenas are near. As hyenas grow bolder, their encounters with other animals become more frequent and aggressive. They scavenge from carcasses, challenge other predators, and patrol the same paths night after night. Learning the routines of both wildlife and livestock, their confidence grows with each successful raid, making them an ever-present danger in the night. The threat of hyena encounters is not just a matter of lost livestock, it is a nightly battle for survival, shaping the behavior of every animal in the village's orbit. As these predators adapt and lose their fear, the balance between wildlife and human settlements grows ever more precarious. In the heart of the savannah, the struggle between predator and prey intensifies as night falls. Hyenas, cunning and relentless, prowl the darkness, searching for any sign of weakness among the herds. The animals, well aware of the threat, employ their own strategies for survival. Herds instinctively cluster together, presenting a united front to confuse and deter the hyenas. Thorny acacia thickets become vital fortresses, their dense spiked branches forming natural barricades that even the most determined predator hesitates to cross. Hyenas probe for weaknesses, testing the barriers and the resolve of their prey. Sometimes a bold hyena will attempt to slip through the thorns only to be repelled by sharp branches or a well-timed kick from a zebra or wildebeest. The predators adapt, using teamwork and communication to encircle their targets, while prey animals rely on speed, agility, and the cover of dense vegetation to escape. Every night is a test of wits and endurance, a desperate defense played out in the shadows. As dawn breaks, the savannah bears silent witness to the night's struggle. Scattered tufts of fur, battered branches, and the mingled tracks of predator and prey. For the animals, every night survived is a victory, hard-won through instinct, cooperation, and the natural defenses of their wild home. In the heart of Louisiana's swamps, the American alligator, once a rare sight, now moves with quiet confidence through its reclaimed domain. These ancient reptiles glide beneath the surface, their armored bodies nearly invisible as they patrol the labyrinth of bayous and wetlands. With powerful tails and webbed feet, alligators navigate flooded forests and tangled undergrowth, emerging at the edges of clearings where the wild meets the world of people. As villages expand along the waterways, alligators are drawn to the boundaries of human settlement. Their movements are deliberate and silent, sometimes appearing at the very doorstep, their massive forms materializing from the mist. Alligators investigate new scents and sounds, their senses finely tuned to the presence of prey or potential threats. Livestock and pets become targets for these apex predators who can strike with astonishing speed. Alligators use the cover of darkness and thick vegetation to approach quietly, relying on their natural camouflage to remain undetected until the last moment. Their habitats are a patchwork of swamps, marshes, and slow-moving rivers, places where they can disappear in an instant. The alligator's ability to remain unseen is its greatest defense, but also its greatest threat to the unwary. When confronted, alligators display a range of defensive behaviors: hissing, tail-slapping, and sudden lunges. These signals warn intruders to keep their distance, but can escalate quickly if the animal feels cornered or threatened. During nesting season, female alligators become fiercely protective. They build mounds of mud and plants to shield their eggs, remaining close by to defend against any perceived danger. A single nest can hold dozens of eggs, each one a future predator. The survival of these young depends on the vigilance of their mother and the safety of their habitat. Any disturbance near a nest can provoke a swift and aggressive response. Defensive measures focus on keeping alligators at bay, reinforcing fences, clearing brush from property edges, and monitoring water access points. Yet the line between wild and settled land is always shifting, and alligators adapt quickly to new obstacles. Each encounter at the village doorstep is a stark reminder. These are not just animals, but powerful survivors of a primeval world. Their presence demands respect, caution, and a deep understanding of the wild places that still exist alongside our own. Alligator control in Louisiana's wild bayous is a complex and perilous undertaking, demanding not only courage, but a deep understanding of the animal's behavior and the ever-changing environment. Each hunt begins with careful tracking. Hunters study the muddy banks for fresh claw marks and the telltale drag of a powerful tail, reading the subtle signs left behind by these elusive predators. The bayou itself is a living maze, with shifting channels, thick vegetation, and unpredictable currents. Alligators adapt seamlessly to these conditions, often lying motionless beneath the surface, their eyes and nostrils barely breaking the waterline. Hunters must adapt as well, learning to move quietly and blend into the landscape, using patience and keen observation to locate their quarry. Tracking these ancient reptiles requires more than sharp eyes. It demands respect for their intelligence and stealth. Alligators are masters of camouflage, vanishing among floating plants and submerged logs, waiting for the perfect moment to strike or slip away unseen. Risk management is at the heart of every operation. The unpredictable nature of alligators means that even the most experienced trackers must remain vigilant. A single misstep can turn a routine task into a life-threatening encounter, as these powerful predators can lunge with astonishing speed and force. Every movement is calculated, every decision weighed against the risks posed by both the animal and the environment. Hunters must anticipate the alligator's next move, using knowledge passed down through generations to outwit a creature that has survived unchanged for millions of years. This work is not about conquest, but coexistence, maintaining a delicate balance between human safety and the wild heart of the bayou. Through skillful tracking, environmental adaptation, and constant vigilance, alligator control teams help ensure that both people and wildlife can thrive along the shifting boundaries of Louisiana's wetlands. Across continents, animals are adapting in remarkable ways to the presence of humans. Coyotes learn to navigate city outskirts under cover of darkness. Hyenas shift their hunting grounds to avoid villages, and alligators retreat to quieter wetlands as people expand their reach. These adaptations reveal the resilience of wildlife, but also the urgent need for thoughtful solutions. Ecological solutions are transforming landscapes. Restored habitats like wetlands, grasslands, and forest corridors offer safe passage and resources for animals, reducing the need for dangerous encounters. Wildlife crossings and buffer zones reconnect fragmented territories, allowing species to move freely and maintain healthy populations. Innovative, non-lethal deterrents are at the forefront of sustainable coexistence. Technology now helps keep predators at bay. Solar-powered fences, motion sensors, and scent-based repellents protect vulnerable species and livestock alike, while minimizing harm to wildlife. As animals adjust their behaviors, becoming more nocturnal, altering migration routes, or seeking new food sources, they demonstrate the dynamic balance of nature. These shifts highlight the importance of giving wildlife the space and resources they need to thrive. Sustainable coexistence means restoring ecosystems, supporting biodiversity, and respecting the intricate web of life. Every healthy habitat is a step toward harmony where each species, from the smallest insect to the largest predator, plays a vital role. The future of human-wildlife harmony lies in our willingness to adapt, innovate, and protect the natural world. By embracing ecological solutions and supporting animal adaptation, we can create a planet where both people and wildlife not only survive but flourish, side by side, in balance with nature. As the sun dips below the horizon and darkness blankets rural landscapes, a hidden world awakens. Across fields, woodlands, and quiet homesteads, nocturnal predators begin their silent patrols. Coyotes move like shadows at the edge of farmland, their paws barely disturbing the dew-laden grass. Hyenas in distant savannas slink along ancient trails, ears attuned to every rustle. Even alligators in southern wetlands glide through moonlit waters, eyes glinting just above the surface. These nightly journeys are more than a search for food. They are a delicate dance with the human world. Motion-activated lights flicker on, casting brief pools of illumination that predators skirt with uncanny awareness. The scent of natural deterrents like predator urine or pungent herbs marks the boundary between wild territory and human space. Invisible lines that most animals instinctively respect. Camera traps reveal the intricacy of this after-dark ballet. Foxes pause at the edge of chicken coops, deterred by the faint buzz of an electric fence. Packs of coyotes fan out along hedgerows, steering clear of livestock protected by guardian dogs. Hyenas, wary of unfamiliar sounds, alter their routes to avoid villages, their paths weaving through patches of untouched grassland. Each interaction leaves a subtle mark on the ecosystem. Predators help regulate populations of smaller animals, keeping rodent numbers in check and shaping the health of plant communities. Their movements at night maintain the balance of nature, fostering biodiversity even as they adapt to human presence. Natural deterrents, thorny hedges, reflective tape fluttering in the breeze, or the calls of territorial birds form a living barrier, guiding nocturnal hunters away from conflict. These methods work in harmony with the rhythms of wildlife, protecting both animals and livelihoods without disrupting the broader ecosystem. In the deep hours before dawn, the landscape is alive with unseen activity. Every step, every pause is a testament to the resilience and intelligence of nocturnal predators. Their patrols are a reminder that the wild and the human can coexist, each respecting the boundaries, each playing a vital role in the ongoing story of the night. As dawn approaches, the night's true storytellers leave more than footprints on the land. Across continents, wildlife communicate through an intricate language invisible to the human eye, scent marking and silent signals that define the boundaries of their world. A lone coyote pauses at a fence post, lowering its head to brush the ground with a gland-rich tail. Here a message is left. A chemical signature, unique as a fingerprint that proclaims ownership, warns rivals, and attracts potential mates. Each scent mark is a post-it note in the wild, layered over weeks and months, guiding the movements of others long after the animal has vanished into the darkness. In the heart of the African savanna, A spotted hyena circles a thorny acacia, lifting its hind leg to deposit a pungent paste. This scent, produced by specialized anal glands, lingers for days, its complex bouquet deciphered by any hyena passing by. The message is clear. This land is claimed, the clan is strong, and trespassers will be challenged. Even alligators, though less reliant on scent, employ subtle cues, rubbing their jaws along the muddy banks to deposit traces of musk. These signals establish feeding territories and reduce the risk of violent encounters in the dense, shadowy waterways. The environment itself becomes a living map, crisscrossed with olfactory trails. Scent marks are placed on prominent rocks, tree trunks, or tufts of grass, natural billboards in the animal kingdom. The wind carries these chemical cues far beyond their source, allowing distant rivals or would-be partners to assess the status of a territory without ever coming face to face. Other non-visual signals add layers to this silent dialogue. The low, rumbling calls of wolves echo through the forest, reinforcing territorial boundaries. The rattle of a hyena's whoop, the bark of a fox, or the splash of an alligator's tail all serve as auditory warnings, enhancing the message left by scent. This ancient system of communication maintains the delicate balance of the wild. By respecting these invisible boundaries, animals avoid unnecessary conflict, conserve energy, and ensure the survival of their lineage. It is a complex dance, one of respect, rivalry, and resilience, played out in the darkness, written in the language of scent and sound. As the sun rises, the marks remain, a testament to the unseen negotiations that shape the lives of nocturnal predators. The wild, it turns out, is never truly silent, and its stories are told in ways humans are only beginning to understand. As the seasons turn, the delicate balance between predator and prey undergoes a dramatic transformation, one that plays out in the wild edges of villages around the world. With the arrival of spring rains, grasslands burst into life, and herds of prey animals expand their range, grazing closer to human settlements in search of fresh shoots. This abundance draws predators like coyotes, hyenas, and even alligators, who adapt their hunting strategies to the shifting availability of food. In the dry heat of summer, water sources shrink and the landscape contracts. Prey animals gather at the remaining rivers and ponds, creating hotspots of activity that predators quickly learn to exploit. Coyotes, once roaming across wide territories, now patrol these narrow lifelines with heightened vigilance. Hyenas, ever opportunistic, form temporary coalitions, working together to outmaneuver the wary antelopes and gazelles clustered near the last muddy pools. As autumn arrives, prey animals grow restless. Instinct drives them toward migration routes or thick forests, seeking shelter from the coming cold. Predators adapt in turn. Some, like the coyote, shift their diet, scavenging from village refuse or targeting smaller game. Hyenas become more daring, venturing closer to livestock enclosures under the cover of early dusk, testing the boundaries between wild and human domains. Winter brings its own challenges. Prey becomes scarce, and survival depends on creativity and resilience. Coyotes dig through snowdrifts to uncover hidden rodents, while hyenas rely on their powerful jaws to break into frozen carcasses left by other hunters. Alligators, sensing the drop in temperature, burrow into riverbanks, entering a state of brumation, a slow, torpid rest until the warmth returns. Throughout these cycles, both predator and prey demonstrate remarkable adaptability. Their strategies, timed migrations, flexible diets, and seasonal alliances, are the result of generations of trial and error, etched into instinct. The shifting seasons force a constant re-evaluation of risk and opportunity, nudging wildlife ever closer to the edges of human habitation. Yet, even as their worlds collide, an ancient rhythm persists. Each adaptation, each seasonal gamble is a testament to the resilience of life on the wild frontier. For predators and prey alike, survival is not just about strength or cunning, but about the ability to change with the earth itself, a lesson written in paw prints, hoof marks, and the silent watchfulness that settles over the land as one season gives way to the next. In the untamed wilds, the battle for territory is not always fought with tooth and claw. Instead, it unfolds in the silent strategies and cunning adaptations that animals deploy to defend their homes. Across continents, wildlife has mastered the art of using natural barriers, rivers, thorny thickets, rocky ridges, and even shifting sands, to outmaneuver rivals and protect their young. On the African savanna, hyenas and lions engage in a daily chess match where the placement of acacia forests and deep gullies can mean the difference between safety and ambush. Hyena clans, familiar with the labyrinthine paths of thorn scrub, will herd their cubs into narrow ravines at dusk, knowing predators are less likely to follow where the terrain becomes treacherous. Each den site is chosen with care. Hidden entrances, winding tunnels, and natural choke points turn a simple burrow into a fortress. In North America, coyotes demonstrate a different kind of ingenuity. They map out their territories along ridgelines and riverbanks, using the land's contours to funnel prey and mark boundaries. Packs communicate through yips and howls, warning intruders away from invisible frontiers that follow the bends of a creek or the rise of a hill. When danger draws near, coyotes exploit thick underbrush and fallen logs, weaving through tangled roots where larger predators cannot follow. Even alligators, masters of the marsh, shape their world to suit their needs. With powerful tails they dig gator holes, depressions that trap rainwater and fish, creating oases in the dry season. These aquatic strongholds become both a refuge and a stronghold, guarded fiercely against intruders. The edges of these pools are lined with reeds and mudbanks, natural barriers that conceal the silent approach of the alligator, ever patient, ever watchful. But the true marvel lies in animal intelligence, the ability to read the landscape, anticipate threats, and adapt strategies with each new challenge. Elephants, for example, will uproot trees to block narrow paths, preventing predators from reaching their calves. Meerkats post sentinels atop termite mounds, scanning for danger while the rest of the group forages in the safety of the colony's shadow. No visuals can capture the subtlety of these defenses. The silent calculation in a coyote's eyes as it chooses a path, the careful selection of a den site by a mother hyena, the ripple of tension as a herd of antelope positions itself with open ground at its back. Here, in the interplay between instinct and environment, the landscape itself becomes an ally, a living, shifting shield in the ancient contest for survival. Through these natural fortresses and clever tactics, wildlife honors an unspoken code. Defend what you claim, adapt to what you cannot control, and always listen to the land. Water more than a resource, it is the lifeblood that shapes every rhythm in the wild. Across continents, rivers, lakes, and seasonal watering holes are the silent architects of animal movement, drawing predators and prey alike into uneasy proximity. In drought-stricken savannas, the last shrinking pools become arenas of desperate competition, where lions, hyenas, and leopards circle the muddy banks, each awaiting their chance as herds of antelope linger in nervous clusters. The air is thick with anticipation, every ripple on the water's surface a signal of hidden dangers lurking nearby. Migratory herds from wildebeest in Africa to elk in North America time their epic journeys with the ebb and flow of rain-fed streams. These ancient routes, etched by generations, converge at rivers that must be crossed, sometimes at great peril. Crocodiles, masters of ambush, patrol these crossings, their patience rewarded by the chaos of trampling hooves and panicked splashes. For villagers living near these lifelines, the stakes are equally high. Livestock and people depend on the same waterholes, but so do the region's fiercest predators. As dry season deepens, the boundaries between wild and human worlds blur. Thirst drives animals to venture closer to settlements, where wells and irrigation ditches offer the only relief. Here the moonlit nights echo with the calls of hyenas and the heavy tread of elephants seeking sustenance in the shadow of human habitation. Fences and watchfires may offer momentary protection, but water's pull is relentless, drawing life and danger side by side. In some regions, villagers have learned to adapt, altering their routines to avoid the dusk and dawn when predator activity peaks around water sources. Wells are dug further from the village heart, and livestock are herded home before the long shadows stretch across the land. Yet even the most careful planning cannot eliminate the risks entirely. A single night's thirst can bring a pride of lions or a wandering alligator to the threshold of safety. Nature's waterways are more than boundaries. They are crossroads of survival, places where the needs of many species collide. In the delicate balance of migration and resource competition, every drop of water tells a story of resilience, rivalry, and the eternal search for life in a world where water is both sanctuary and snare. In the unseen theatre of the wild, sound is both messenger and shield, a vital thread in the web of survival. For animals, every rustle, roar, and chirp carries meaning, shaping encounters long before bodies meet or eyes lock. When dawn breaks over the savannah, a chorus of alarm calls ripples through the grasslands. Impalas bark sharp warnings, their voices piercing the hush, signaling the presence of a stalking predator. In the dense forests, monkeys send up a cacophony of screeches, each note a coded message. Danger from above, danger from below. Predators, too, wield sound with precision. The low rumble of a lion's roar can travel up to 5 miles, a declaration of territory that resonates through the underbrush and into the bones of every creature nearby. Wolves harmonize in haunting howls, coordinating the hunt and reaffirming the unity of the pack. Even silence can be a weapon. Leopards move with ghost-like stealth, their padded paws muffling every footfall, while owls glide on wings, specially adapted to hush the air, striking before their prey ever hears a warning. Environmental acoustics amplify these exchanges. In the stillness of a moonlit night, the distant laughter of hyenas carries over the plains, a chilling reminder of ever-present danger. Rainfall on broad leaves, the rush of river rapids, and the moan of wind through canyon walls can mask the approach of both predator and prey, reshaping the battlefield with every shift in the weather. Some animals exploit these soundscapes with remarkable ingenuity. Elephants communicate across miles with infrasound, deep rumbling calls too low for human ears but rich with information for the herd. Frogs and crickets synchronize their calls to overwhelm the noise of rivals, ensuring their own voices are heard by potential mates or allies. For those who listen, the wild is alive with stories told in sound. A startled flock taking flight, the warning thump of a rabbit's hind legs, or the rattling hiss of a disturbed snake, all speak of hidden dramas unfolding out of sight. In this world, to hear is to know, and to know is often to survive. As each day closes and the nocturnal orchestra swells, the language of the wild continues, ancient, intricate, and ever-changing. Here, echoes are more than background noise. They are the very pulse of life, guiding every creature through the perils and possibilities of their world. As the world warms, ancient rhythms unravel, and the boundaries between wild and human grow ever more uncertain. Across continents, climate change is redrawing the map, altering the migration routes of predators and reshaping the fates of villages on the edge of survival. In the Arctic, rising temperatures melt permafrost and shrink the sea ice, forcing polar bears to wander farther in search of food. Their once reliable hunting grounds now fragmented, these apex predators drift into settlements, scavenging for scraps and coming face to face with people unprepared for their arrival. Each encounter is a collision of desperation, bears hungry, families fearful, the old balance lost. Farther south, drought transforms grasslands into dust, rivers that once teemed with life dry to trickles, and prey animals vanish from the parched earth. Lions and leopards, driven by empty bellies, abandon their ancestral ranges. They travel closer to villages, skirting fences and probing the shadows, their instincts honed by necessity. Livestock, once a distant temptation, become targets. For rural communities, every nightfall brings new anxiety as the line between wild and tame blurs. In East Africa, elephants and hyenas follow the shifting rains. Scarcity drives them to raid crops and water tanks, challenging farmers with a choice: defend hard-won harvests, or risk escalating conflict. The predators, too, are transformed. Hyena clans grow bolder, learning to exploit the vulnerability left in the wake of drought and famine. Meanwhile, in North America, coyotes and wolves adapt to the changing seasons. Warmer winters and erratic weather disrupt the cycles of deer and rabbit populations, pushing canids to explore suburban fringes. Their lithe forms slip through gaps in fences, drawn by the scent of garbage or backyard chickens. For each animal, every journey is a gamble, new territories, new dangers, and new opportunities. Underneath it all, habitat fragmentation accelerates. Forests recede, grasslands fragment, and wetlands vanish. Corridors that once guided migrations become highways and farmlands, forcing predators into unfamiliar territory. The delicate choreography of pursuit and escape is rewritten, often with tragic results for both hunter and hunted. For vulnerable villages, adaptation is a race against time. Some communities build barriers, others deploy innovative deterrents, solar-powered lights, noise machines, scent markers. Yet the pressures mount. As climate change transforms the landscape, the stories of survival grow more complex, the stakes higher. In this new era, the wild is not a distant place. It is a shifting frontier, pressing ever closer to the heart of human life. The choices made now, by animals and people alike, will shape the next chapter in the age-old struggle for coexistence. Here, on the edge of change, every footstep, every shadow, and every silent migration tells a story of resilience, adaptation, and the uncertain hope for harmony on a warming planet. In the heart of the wild, survival is not always a solitary pursuit. Beneath the canopy, across sun-baked plains and along winding rivers, remarkable alliances emerge, silent pacts forged between species, each seeking refuge from the ever-present threat of predators. These are the unsung stories of cooperation, where nature's balance is maintained not by conflict alone, but by collaboration. On the African savanna, zebras and wildebeest graze side by side. Their partnership is more than mere convenience. Zebras, with their keen eyesight, detect movement from afar, while wildebeest, with their acute sense of smell, catch the faintest scent of lurking lions. A flick of an ear, a sudden dash, and the entire herd is alerted. Two species, many senses, one shared defense. In South American rainforests, the cacophony of alarm calls weaves a web of vigilance. Tamarin monkeys leap through the branches, their shrill warnings echoing down to the forest floor. Agoutis, small and vigilant rodents, freeze at the sound, knowing that danger, perhaps a jaguar, may be near. Birds join in, their calls amplifying the message. Each species listens, learns, and responds, a living network of survival. Even underwater, alliances abound. In the coral reefs, cleaner fish and shrimp set up cleaning stations, where larger fish, sometimes even formidable predators, wait patiently for parasites to be picked away. In this brief truce, predator and prey coexist, bound by mutual benefit. The reef thrives, its balance preserved by these daily rituals. At night, in North American forests, the cries of crows and the rustle of deer are signals in the dark. When coyotes approach, the deer freeze, ears swiveling. Crows, ever watchful, sound their raucous alarms, warning not just their own flock, but all within earshot. In this shared vigilance, lives are saved. These interspecies alliances are nature's quiet triumphs, evidence that survival is not always a battle, but a dance of give and take. Through cooperation, animals expand their senses, strengthen their defenses, and weave a tapestry of resilience that endures even as the world changes around them. As the boundaries between predator and prey, wild and tame, continue to shift, these ancient partnerships remind us, in nature, harmony is not just possible, it is essential. The future of the wild may depend not on the strength of the individual, but on the wisdom of unlikely allies working together to stand against the darkness. As the footprint of humanity stretches ever further, the wild is forced to adapt or perish. Across continents and climates, animals face a new kind of predator-human expansion. But nature is nothing if not resilient. In the shadows of cities and along the borders of farmland, a silent evolution unfolds. Animal defense mechanisms, once shaped by ancient predators, now recalibrated for survival at the edge of human settlement. In suburban woodlands, deer alter their patterns, foraging under the cover of darkness to avoid roads and the hum of human activity. Foxes and raccoons, once shy creatures of the understory, become urban tacticians, learning the rhythms of garbage collection, deciphering the scent of locked bins, and teaching their young to navigate a world of concrete and cars. Their senses sharpen and their wits grow keener with each generation. On the grasslands, birds adapt their nesting habits. Some species, like the plover, move closer to human dwellings, where natural predators are fewer, but vigilance is still required. They learn to recognize the sounds of engines, the patterns of foot traffic, and the subtle cues that signal danger or safety in this new landscape. In Asia, elephants faced with electric fences and expanding villages develop new migration routes, teaching their calves to skirt boundaries and avoid traps. They communicate these lessons through low rumbles and gentle nudges, passing down survival knowledge that blends instinct with innovation. Predators, too, must evolve. Leopards stalking the outskirts of Indian towns become masters of camouflage, slipping through shadows and choosing their moments with precision. They learn to distinguish between the harmless glow of lanterns and the threat of a watchful villager. Coyotes, wolves, and even bears develop an uncanny ability to read the signs of human presence, adapting their hunting and scavenging strategies to exploit opportunities or evade conflict. This evolution is not just physical but behavioral. Animals learn to distinguish between real and false alarms, between the barking of a dog and the approach of a human. They adapt their calls, their camouflage, their movements, each change a testament to their will to survive. Yet, this adaptation comes at a cost. The wild is reshaped, its ancient rhythms altered. The boundary between human and animal becomes a zone of constant negotiation, a place where every sense is tested and every lesson learned is a chance at another day. At the edge of human settlement, evolution is visible in every cautious step, every clever detour, every silent retreat. Here the wild endures not unchanged, but undaunted, proving that survival is not just a matter of strength, but of learning, adaptation, and the relentless will to live. When nature's fury is unleashed, the delicate balance between predator and prey is thrown into chaos. Floods, wildfires, and hurricanes sweep across the land, reshaping familiar territories and scattering the animals who call them home. In the aftermath, near the edges of villages and towns, the wild must find a way to recover and redefine its rules of survival. In the charred remains of a forest, ash drifts on the wind as deer move cautiously through the blackened trunks. Their usual hiding places gone, they gather in the open, eyes wide and ears straining for any sign of danger. Predators, too, must adapt. Coyotes and wolves, deprived of cover, prowl the periphery. Some become scavengers, searching for what the fire has left behind. Others follow the scent trails of displaced prey, learning to hunt in a world stripped of its old patterns. When rivers burst their banks, fields become lakes and familiar trails vanish beneath the water. Small mammals cling to floating logs while raptors circle above, their keen eyes scanning for movement in the flood. For every animal, survival means innovation. Otters and beavers, masters of water, thrive in the new wetlands, while foxes and rabbits seek higher ground, forging uneasy truces as they wait for the waters to recede. After the storm, the landscape is a patchwork of ruin and renewal. Grasses push through the mud and saplings sprout where the fire ran hottest. Here, predator and prey alike must rewrite their instincts. Prey learn to read the altered terrain, seeking shelter in unexpected places, fallen logs, tangled roots, even the abandoned ruins at the village edge. Predators become students of change, tracking the new movements of their quarry and adjusting their tactics to the unfamiliar world. Yet, amidst the upheaval, resilience endures. Animal communities rebuild, guided by the memory of old trails and the promise of new beginnings. Birds return to sing in the silence after the storm, and the first cautious steps of a fawn mark the start of recovery. Each disaster is a test, a trial by fire, water, or wind, and each time nature answers with adaptation, cooperation, and a fierce will to survive. In these moments, the boundary between wild and human blurs, not with conflict but with shared vulnerability. Here, in the shadow of disaster, the story of survival is rewritten, one paw print, feather, and heartbeat at a time.